Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here to my flame, obviously. I'm back on World at War. We've got another topic video I want to talk about, and I'm just going to get straight into it. And I'll tell you why in a sec. But the topic today is multiplayer versus single player. And the reason I say versus instead of, like, what's the difference sort of thing, is I've seen so many people recently, as I always do, mainly through Twitter and Reddit and stuff, people talking about the games now. Single-player games are really good. Multiplayer games suck. And I completely agree in a way. A lot of multiplayer games just don't... I mean, we've spoke about this for a while, haven't we? That multiplayer games are just nowhere near as good. Oh my god. Frying. Good start. And I'll tell you why. Simply put, obviously with the live service model, the multiplayer requires, and sort of not requires, but relies on all-out money and the players to be engaged and buy things. So no longer is it down to just sales. They can release a free-to-play model game and they can make, you know, 100 grand in a few weeks, if that, just off pretty, like, store-based stuff, which, you know, is okay, great for them making financial stuff, but it's also a big reason why the quality goes down, because as I've said for a while now, I would rather have DLCs like we used to and pay for the ones I want than get half-assed, terrible designed free stuff, you know? I don't know if it's just me. I know a lot of people seem to agree with me on that, but let me know in the comments which one you would prefer. But I just don't like the free season stuff, because it sort of degrades the quality, because they're relying on people to buy. I mean, look at the battle pass with COD. You go and buy the battle pass, you get access to, you know, better stuff. But the free stuff, which I don't know if you can unlock it without buying it, but you look at that free stuff, it's nowhere near the same quality, you know? So, and I've always had like a belief in a saying, right? And I've said this for years, I tell Kim this all the time, anything that's free compared to something that you have to pay for, the quality is always going to be better when you pay for it. Just simple as. I'm going to quickly put my glasses on. That's unfortunately just how it works, okay? And that's why you always have to remember, if you're playing a free-to-play game and you know it's not up to scratch, remember it's free-to-play. And unless they're, you know, saying, oh no, by the way, we want to make sure the quality's great, so we're going to put 110 in every time, and they're not charging you up the ass for it, then, you know, you got to understand that because it's free-to-play, they're going to cheap out on the quality of some of the stuff and put more quality into the things they're making money off. And that's where I think single player comes in, being like why it's so much better at the minute. Because every service is online, everything's live service now. Single player games don't really require that. They just have, if they've got a good story and they are compelling and it makes you want to play it, then obviously that's all it takes. You don't need all the fancy multiplayer stuff, because it's not designed for that. It's designed purely to get people engaged in the story, make them want more, make them want a sequel, X, Y, Z. And I think that's a big reason why, at the minute, single-player games are... I mean, that's why single-player games are great anyway, but it's probably why they're doing so much better than multiplayer. And the reason I say it doing so much better, you go look at games that have dropped in the last, like, 5-6 years, and you look at multiplayer versus single-player, multiplayer always gets talked about how bad something is. Single-player doesn't really get talked about unless the game is really, really bad. I mean, the single-player side of Black Ops 7 isn't even single-player, you know? So, when I mean by single-player, I mean games that literally don't have an online mode and are severely focused on just the campaign story mode. So, for example, the game I'll use... My bullets have gone through it. The game I'll use as an example is one that has both multiplayer and story. Halo 1 and Halo 2. Phenomenal multiplayer, phenomenal campaign, and the split screen, everything was designed good for multiplayer. So, it had everything, right? And you look at the complaints of them games when it's done right and you've got a good story and a good multiplayer. Then you get games like Black Ops 7 or Black Ops 6, where, well, we'll use Black Ops 7, the campaign is absolutely diabolical, and the multiplayer is also pretty bad. And then it's like, well, what are you paying for? Zombies? And even then, zombies is not that good. So, it's a matter of greatness of storyline versus clickability and purchasability. That's basically what it comes down to at the end of the day. And like I said, I do believe thoroughly it is a massive reason why the single player games are doing so much better now. Is because you take this multiplayer that could be good, you fill it full of fucking ads, and you just ruin it. And then you've got single player games that, if the storyline's great, people are going to love it. Simple as. And I mean, Max Payne, the first Max Payne game, you can't play multiplayer because it's a single player game, and I love that story as a kid. I still play it this day. That gives me replayability, and I will pay for the game. And again, it just goes back to everything we've talked about, and it ties into the everyone's about buying things and promoting and money, and that's why it's not about, oh yeah, do you want to buy a game and then you just be happy with the game? No, that's not the case. Instead, it's no, you're going to buy this game and then you've got to be happy with the game, but then you want to buy more. Even though our game's got broken issues, that's not enough. You have to go back and, you know, want more and want more and want more. And by doing that, all they're doing is just making DLC, but it's not even DLC, it's the free content. So, I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think a lot of it, honestly, it does just come down to that sort of thing about how... Oh, get the MG next level. Just how poor the marketing is around it, with... Not the market, sorry. How poor the execution is, and... Again, the multiplayer being very meh, and then them relying on selling you things for it to be better, versus the storylines in single-player games just being good. And the thing is, look, I'll be honest, the quality of games' storylines even dropped in the last 10 years, so it's no surprise to me, as I've said for ages, oh, brought up my dashboard, that, you know, gaming is in a really shitty state right now, because everything's in a bad quality sort of mindset, and everyone's sort of sick of the same shit. So, I don't know. It's one of them where I think a lot of people will settle, and again, it causes a big problem. When you settle for things, then you're just saying, oh no, well, you don't want to try, that's fine, we'll accept it, we'll still give you money. And that creates this bad principle that we have now, where year after year, they're just dropping games that shouldn't even have been released. I mean, if I ask you guys honestly, how many games of we'll just talk about COD, right? Just Call of Duty, in the last 7 years should not have been released because they were that bad. Vanguard, probably up there. Black Ops 7, Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 2. You know, like, games that were fucking buggy as shit and still are. And also, just, if they'd actually put the more effort in to make the games good, they might have been alright. But again, it's just that exact same situation showing they're not capable of giving a damn. Simple as. So, I think if they cared more, the games I've just mentioned could actually be, you know, possibly worth something to some degree. But how many people do you know that line up to play Vanguard, even that, like, when it was new? Never mind now, you know? Oh my god, STG. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Is it something that you guys think is because the multiplayer is, like, I don't know. I think the free-to-play system is a big problem. And I just want to know if you guys think the same thing. And, again, you pay for quality. It's been apparent across the entire human existence that if you have two options to either buy something or get something cheap or get it free, it's always the most expensive is 90% of the time better than the cheap thing, and the cheap thing is 90% better than the free thing. And it's very rare that it'll be anything different. So, you know, I genuinely want to know what you guys think, and where do you think the biggest changes need to be made? Obviously, my opinion is it needs to... Just people need to care more and say, right, we need to stop making loads of money or stop trying to completely ruin our franchise. Because, again, there's no pride. There is no pride anymore in the multiplayer side of things, as far as I'm concerned. People just don't give a damn. And they're willing to release a game half-assed. They don't care about the product if it has a shit reputation, a great reputation. And, I mean, look what it's done. You know, like games like COD, games like Halo, prime example. The reputation is dog because the game's dog. And oh, what? Where's he come from? Damn it. So, yeah, same situation. Same situation. I think the only way for multiplayer games to get their thing back is, like I said, companies or new companies need to really push boundaries and say, look, we are oh my god, there's an army of dogs. And just, yeah, basically turn around and say, look, let's reinvent the wheel, basically. Let's change our practices and make them customer friendly and not be money greedy bastards. Like, again, if you're running a company and you're not, like, user friendly or, like, consumer friendly, what do you expect? People aren't going to like your company. People aren't going to like your product. And then when you go out your way to make the product literally not what people want when you know you could make millions. Like, I've said this for ages. Do you know how much money Activision could make if they just listened to the fan base? It's incredible. But no, they still make millions, like, granted. But think of how much more they could make if they genuinely went out their way to do things. Crazy. By the way, my teammate just went 1-13. Damn. Generic name. 88. No, it wasn't even him. Guims. 22. 5-0, but he's 1-13. Strange. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub if you're new as well. It helps out a ton if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop that like. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, let's have a debate about it. But thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one, and I'll see you then.